Sending Network Protocol is a decentralized communication infrastructure that provides growth solutions for Web3 projects. You can use this account to send messages, earn points on the dApp store, and join online or offline activities. What you're seeing right here is SendingMe, which is an instant messenger application we built on top of the Sending Network, which is a fully decentralized network that allows the seamless transfer of digital assets, along with interoperable communications across all Web3 platforms. We are completely open and can be integrated with a number of different protocols and Web3 applications. We are a turnkey solution for the early-stage communities to set up their entire space and grow their user base. First, let's start, and I will show you the decentralized and interoperable identity, as well as censorship-resistant network to protect the user's privacy. As you can see, the setup of the chat interface is very similar to Discord, where you have all the different squads and rooms. The main difference is that within each of the rooms, everyone would be logging on with their wallet. You must own the NFT and the domain name to use it as your profile and username. With the wallet, we get all the tokens and NFT information that we can later do in token gating for the rooms and squads. Here's where we can set up the token gating by limiting only the users possessing certain assets or tokens to be able to join a room or start a direct message. With this, we are able to prevent all the scams and spams that were prevalent in a lot of the Web2 platforms. Next, let's go into the one-stop shop for chat, trade, and socializing. By typing in the ticker of a token, we'll be able to see its current pricing and historical charts. Within our squad, we can set up a marketplace for NFTs. The Mart feature allows the users in the group to showcase the current NFT that are listed in the marketplace. And if you see anything you like, you can click into the NFT and make a trade right away. Alternatively, instead of taking the listing price, you can choose to use the peer swap feature to make an offer with the specific NFTs or tokens within your own wallet and structure this into an over-the-counter deal. We also have the party kit for better communication, growth, and engagement. For example, here is the money gun where you can put in some amount of tokens or NFT into a smart contract for everyone in the group to do a draw. We have also integrated with different kinds of multiplayer games to increase the user engagement while they're chatting within the group chats. This is our live party screen. It's an interactive display of everyone's conversation within a party. This can be used at events or panels where the speakers on stage can have a better way of interacting with all of the audience, or the audience can have a better way of interacting amongst themselves. Once someone sends a money gun, they will also get featured on this big party screen. SendingMe is the perfect place for early-stage communities to build and grow without having to invest in their own front-end applications.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to another one of our AMA session. And today we're joined here with Daria, and she is representing SendingMe. If you guys haven't heard about it, SendingMe is a decentralized, private, and secure Web3 native community chat app that allows users to engage, transact, as well as reward their communities. But I'm sure Daria here could get you guys through a deep dive on what's it about. But before we get started, Daria, perhaps you could introduce yourself to our viewers here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daria. I'm head of social for Sending Labs. And SendingMe is part of our lovely group of products. So yeah, as Natalie mentioned, SendingMe is a decentralized messenger app with Sending Network at its core. Our main idea is to democratize the way that people speak to each other, the way that they manage their communities, the way they engage with other users. And basically, we wanted people to have all the tools that they need to make that happen. So that's what we're going to talk about here today.
All right, that's interesting. So you mentioned, you guys are working on equipping all these developers as well as people in the Web3 space to have better tools in terms of making communication decentralized. And I was wondering if you could elaborate how these products would align with this mission of yours.
Yeah, of course. So basically, with our main mission is to make communication safe, private, owned by the people speaking, and give them tools to make their dreams work. And our products basically align with the biggest mission of providing even the smallest of the communities with ability to engage with their audience on the truly close and in-depth level, with our inbuilt apps and with inbuilt reward system and with the ability to connect your wallet and maybe brag a little. You never know. I mean, collectors are very fun people. So that's us. We want to make this as fun as possible. And instead of having 10 apps to do that, we decided to make one.
All right. Yeah, that sounds interesting. And in terms of the functionality of things, how does Sending Network actually empowers these developers to integrate like in-app or cross-app chats, perhaps notifications or wallets? Like, how does these comes into the application? Yeah, in
So
general.
Sending Network is basically what is under the hood. It's the back end of SendingMe. And we are not limiting Sending Network to just being for our app. Moreover, we're providing this tool set to other third parties so they can inbuild all the different chatting features into their applications. So if you have a game, you can have an awesome inbuilt chat. Or if you have, I don't know, an NFT collection that is community based, because most of them are for art, but some of them are for some more utilitarian purpose. With the kit that we provide, anybody can turn their small app into a fully communication based application. So you can send a message to your friend, give him a video call, or even perhaps, send him something nice or trade a collective item with them. And that is what we're all about. We don't want to break existing world order, but we definitely want to make this world a bit more connected place than it is.
All right. Yeah, that's great. I think that's awesome. I think especially when it comes to like the Web3 space, people are very sensitive in terms of ownership as well as privacy. So I'm really curious about the architecture. Like how does the network as well as like the project ensures ownership of the interactions that they have and as well as like digital assets within the app?
Yeah, so because SendingMe is and Sending Network is a fully decentralized venture, so this means that we do not see your assets, we cannot do anything to them. So, and we obviously cannot see what you're messaging to your friends about. And this provides us with a possibility to have censorship-free environment for anybody that needs it. We ask our users to be sensible on that side, but overall, because we are very chain agnostic, it doesn't really matter what you prefer in this sense, because you can be on any chain and have your assets in multiple places. And because it's fully decentralized, we can't do anything with your data, and we don't want to do anything with your data. You do
Yes.
you is a definition of our application.
Yeah, that definitely hits like a huge pain points for, Web3 normies here. Like data is a really very sensitive issue, and that's really great that you guys are tackling such a huge hurdle there. So how does like Sending Labs approach the concept of decentralized ownership? Like how does it, differ from traditional centralized models, especially when, in light of recent events like the FTX exchange collapse, like I'd imagine like there are users that are very concern in this matter. Yeah.
So architectural wise, we host various integrations. So we allow people to choose their identity provider, basically. So if you feel like you want to work with Rename or with anybody else, or you want to use some other tools, you may. We are just a bridge between different chains, bridge between different entities. And we, as I said, we do not store your data, we do not collect your data. It is completely person-to-person interaction. So you're fully responsible of your own actions, whatever you're doing with your assets, whatever you're sending to your friends. I would say it's even more honest than you would do it with just transactional things, such as sending somebody an asset, because here your conversation is basically your asset. So you have to be diligent on your own in terms of who you're speaking to. But because it is harder to be a fraudster when everything is connected to your wallet and to your assets, there is a lower chance that you're talking to a scammer. So that's also a good thing that we're hopefully provide our users with. And I mean, safety is super important to us, so that is why we do a backup of a backup over a backup, so people can have various options in terms of how they engage their online identity with us.
Yeah, could you elaborate more on like what are the safety procedures that you guys have? Like, I'm very interested in that.
So one of them would be that the fact that you can use not only your wallet, but you can also use different social media accounts or anything that you feel like it. Second of all, you always get a notification about what exactly that you're doing with the transaction. So if you're sending somebody something, I mean, you have to sign for it, obviously. And outside of that, I mean, we do not have KYC yet per se, but in the future,
Okay.
hopefully, we will provide that model as well. It's in development. So that's one of the few safety features there.
All right, that's great. Great to hear. And in terms of like community engagement, I understand that that's a very central point to sending me. So is there any examples that you could provide in terms of how communities can leverage on these sending me features, obviously to, you know, foster interactions, engagement, as well as like rewards among their members? Like what sort of features does your app provide at this stage?
Yeah, of course. So at the moment, even though we are in the beta stage, we provide a full-scale airdrop tool, exchange tool. There's also a fun tool called Money Gun that you can top up with your NFTs or with a token and randomly distribute to your audience. We also have a good number of dApps integrated through Polygon, so you basically have all of your favorites at the tip of your fingers. And we have lovely partners, W3W, who are providing us with analytic tools. So if you ever manage a community or you want to manage a community, you can have a full insight into your crowd of people, what they do, where they're from, how they found you. And you can see all of the things that they own as well. And on top of that, there's also an option for gated community. So if you have like a very private sale, or you just have like, I don't know, a very particular club of interest, you can use the token to have it as gated community as well. So pretty
All right.
handy. Entire party kit. You do the math.
Sure sounds like it. And among like all of these like features, like what would you say is the one of the highlights that Sending Me has that you know stands it out?
Oh, we have quite a few, but I mean, the fact that you can call and message people, that is like a go-to. But my favorite would be Money Gun because it's such a fun thing. You don't need to spend a lot to make it happen. The tool is free for everybody who uses the app, so that's all right. But I mean, the overall inbuilt games that we have as well, those are very fun to play, especially if you want to procrastinate at work. That works good. Not that I would know,
All
but
right.
I heard good things.
Yeah, definitely. All right, sounds good. And yeah, so we all know, you know, it was the pivot from 2020, it was like NFTs, you know, where the crypto realm started emerging. And now like this year, especially with a lot of like AI technologies, like is that I know a lot of businesses like go through like challenges as you know these AI techs emerge. As for Sending Labs, is there any like challenges that you guys face in terms of developments and you know launching the actual sending networks and Sending Me itself? Like, is there any challenges that you guys are currently facing, and what are the steps that you guys are taking to overcome these challenges, if any?
Well, with AI, we're not trying to beat it, we're trying to join it. So, you know, the drill here. But I mean, we have our inbuilt assistant, Serena, who is AI powered. We're teaching her new things every once in a while so she doesn't get bored and boring. But I wouldn't say that the challenge is very great out there on its own, but we need to understand that we're in a bear market, even if though we sometimes want to pretend we're not. So the overall business is slowing down for everyone. But with that in mind, every time this market comes around, people are seeking connection and people are seeking ways to talk to other people And with recent shenanigans with like X Twitter, which is X, which is jokes about X,
Yeah.
it has been a handful. We see a big shift in paradigm of people, just wanting to express themselves online and shifting towards proper engagement and seeking something deeper than there it is out there. So our main challenge is just to get through to everyone else who are seeking to find real connection in a very lonely world, even though there's a lot of us.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, I'm actually interested in terms of the features because like a lot of like businesses, like when it comes to AI, they're pivoting more towards like automations. Like, is this a realm that SendingMe is currently exploring, or perhaps like would want to venture out in the future?
Yeah, eventually we want to turn Serena into a full-scale AI model, but at this moment, we're just using her for tech support mostly. And we are not gonna lie, we use AI to help us with content and with videos and with different things. AI is basically like a gun. You can shoot someone, you can use it to your advantage, so we're using it to our advantage.
All right, that's great. And would you say like the help of like AI would help in terms of like the connection that you mentioned amongst community, or would this be a challenge? Like,
Well, it is a double-edged sword to me because AI is getting so good that it's hard to tell if that's a real person on the other side. But luckily for us, AI still can't make a wallet and go on sending me to type somebody a message, so we're safe for now. Unless it gets very smart, then I guess it's just time for us to pack and move to another universe.
yeah, for sure. All right. And in terms of Web3 growth, like how do you see SendingMe contributing, into the development and the broader aspect of the Web3 ecosystem evolution, like especially like considering its emphasis on the data ownership and control for users, like how do you see it contributing in general?
Well, first and foremost, as I said, we are not using your data. We don't own it. We don't store it. We can't do anything to it unless you want us to. I mean, you have to ask
Okay.
really nicely. But overall, we're trying to contribute into connecting various projects together because we build a platform that allows different projects to come together as well with the whole discovery section on our app. But even without that, we just want people to be safe when they speak to their friends, when they speak to their families, when they're planning a new venture. I mean, best things usually happen and start with a friend's group chat, right? And we want that
Yeah.
group chat to be as engaged and as close as possible without having the constant fear that somebody is listening, because we're
Yeah.
not. We can't physically listen to you, and we don't want to. Your secrets are safe with you.
Yeah.
So we're definitely trying to bring connection without intruding on privacy, without trying to claim anybody's privacy. And because we're chain agnostic, we're bringing different protocols together. So we bring Polygon and we bring BNB chain and we bring ETH. So it's like, in high school when there was different subcultures and there's emos and there's goths. So we're just trying to bring everybody together and make the world be as one. And that is
Yeah.
the biggest goal here.
Yeah, I can definitely feel a sense of comfort just hearing the vision here, as well as like the safety features that you guys are implementing. It is kind of scary when you kind of second guess like what you're doing online. Is people actually listening? Is people storing your, private sensitive data? So that's great to hear.
And we don't change the rules as we go. That's the thing.
Oh yes,
Because
that's the key there, definitely. Okay, and so in terms of the development and the strategic direction of Sending Labs, like where do you see it pivoting, moving into the future? Yeah.
ideally, we would like to become a number one messenger provider for industry. So become an industry standard, basically. Because we see our competitors and we see other messenger apps out there. And let's be honest, said Discord is not industry standard for Web3 because it's mainly made for gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Standard gaming, traditional gaming. I mean, Telegram is just a weird place to be. WhatsApp and Viber is something that our parents use. Facebook Messenger, well, haven't heard about him in ages. So when you become the idea is to become an industry standard where people who are developing their new Web3 products, who are developing their new games, developing their new exchanges, their dApps overall, if they need a messenger feature, they can come to a Sending network and we'll provide them with a growth kit to do it. And if they have their own small community and they want to monetize it and they want to engage it, but they don't want to pay a cut to set OnlyFans, for example, if you're an adult entertainer, you can use SendingMe and build out your community and use the inbuilt tipping system or inbuilt sending system in there to share the assets or tokens or whatever is that you want to monetize your content and to engage the community you have. And you don't have to share the profit just because you have it. We're gonna make our commission based on the transaction, but we're not gonna take 20% cut of your check. And I think it's very important if you live in creator economy, especially if you're just an artist. Artists don't make as much as they should. It's very underpaid class of creators, I'm afraid.
Yes.
So we want everybody to have a home, to have a purpose, have a place. And we want to be the industry standard for messaging. For Web3 messaging. Because eventually Web3 will become next Web2. We're just going to live with that age.
Definitely, yeah. Totally agree with you guys that you guys seem to be setting like a whole new level of standard here and, becoming like the benchmark for these communities. All right. And in terms of the complexity of, blockchain and decentralization in general, like how do you guys ensure that Sending Network and SendingMe provides users with a user-friendly experience for both developers and end users?
So for developers, we have a dedicated Gitbook resource. We also have a direct support line. So in case you get lost, we're always there to help you. The kit itself is pretty easy to implement. And because we're chain agnostic, we don't really conflict with different chains at all. And I mean, we are a bridge. We're built to be comfortable and we're built to relay messages from one place to another. And with that in mind, we are trying to make it as simple as possible. And for the SendingMe side, it has a very intuitive and very familiar front end. If you ever use the messenger, it will be an absolute no-brainer. Even my mom can use it, and she's pushing 60. So, yeah, we just want people to have a comfortable experience, and we are providing our app with a constant updates, and we have a pretty intuitive onboarding. So it's not going to be hard to start your community from scratch or just use it as an everyday messenger. If you're a company, you have a good place you can have your comms at. If you're just an individual and you want to hang out with your friends, that's also workable because we have inbuilt voice calls and video calls. That is fully decentralized and on-chain. We don't see what you're talking about. We don't hear what you're talking about. You can leave voice notes if you feel like it. Anything that you're used to with said Telegram or Discord, we have that. But on top of that, we obviously have tools that are more specific to the Web3 audience, and anybody will find that kit that they're most comfortable with to manage their community or, just send some money over to friends abroad. That works too.
That's great. It sounds like there's not much of a friction to, pivot towards actually using these products as, they're quite user-friendly as what you mentioned.
Exactly. That's the point. Web3 doesn't have to be for geeks. Web2 used to be for geeks. Web1 used to be for geeks. But over time, adoption becomes so big that this is no longer a geek story. It is our story. Us as communities, as people, as users. And that is the most important thing.
All right. That's great. So in terms of your products, like how do you envision it evolving and adapting to, the dynamic landscape of decentralized technologies and obviously like users' needs? Like how would it pivot moving forward?
We will continue to improve on our safety features. We understand that we have to be compliant with laws of many countries. So we have to find a good balance between absolute safety and anonymity, but also with the law of various countries. We're definitely going to be improving on the overall network experience. We want it to be faster, more stable, more accessible to anybody, regardless of the country. And on SendingMe side, we will always continue to add new dApps. I mean, Polygon integration is just one of the few, so we will be definitely moving forward with that. And we will be also adding additional analytical tools and scoreboard systems. And we have a whole plan for anybody who comes along. So yeah, that is our big aim. Becoming an industry standard is a bold statement. So when you say something like that, you have to definitely reach high and become it eventually. And that's what we're aiming for. I mean, it's not like we have a choice.
But definitely, it's a great thing what you guys are doing here, setting a new benchmark, setting a new industry standard here. It's definitely something that's in market and, that everyone really needs at this point of stage to feel safe with their data, even if it's just engaging with communities. So kudos to you guys.
Thank you very much. We will be doing our best. And in order to do our best, we want people to meet us as well. So come to Singapore. We're going to see you there. We're hosting a few events, including some with a Polygon.
All right. Sounds good. I think those are pretty much the questions on my end. Thank you so much, Daria, for joining us. And thank you guys for tuning in to this live stream right now. And yeah, so if you haven't heard of SendingMe, I hope you get a in-depth overview of what it's about and follow them on their social accounts as well as BingX. And that's pretty much it for this session. And yeah, so if you haven't heard of and yeah, so if you haven't heard of and yeah, so if you haven't heard of